Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NBA, NHL, and college basketball games, and I'll look ahead to tonight's games in each sport. Then I'll preview and predict tonight's Thursday night matchup between the Cowboys and the Saints. I'll look at the latest golf tournament going on, news and notes. I'll recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer, and my best bet of the day. We're going to start with the NBA, as we will go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to a smaller slate for tonight. So, without further ado, here we go. Hawks over the Pacers, 114-111. The Hawks are 12-10, Indiana 9-15. Magic over the Nuggets, 108-103. Magic 5-18, or Denver 10-11. Wizards over the Timberwolves, 115-107. Wiz 14-8, Minnesota 11-11. Celtics over the 76ers, 88-87. Celtics 12-10, 76ers 11-11. Best bet was a loser because Boston didn't cover. Cavs over the Heat, 111-85. The Cavs 12-10. Miami 13-9. Bucks over the Hornets, 127-125. Milwaukee 14-8. Charlotte 13-11. Mavs over the Pelicans, 139-107. The Mavs 11-9. New Orleans 6-18. Rockets over the Thunder, 114-110. The Rockets 5-16. OKC 6-15. And the Kings over the Clippers, 124-115. The Kings 9-14. The Clippers 11-11. Now we look ahead to tonight's small window. 7:30 NBA TV. The Bulls and the Knicks. My projections: Knicks by 2, total 213.3. Meanwhile, FanDuel has this at Chicago by 2, total 213.5. The reason why it's like that because there's the availability potentially of RJ Barrett. If RJ Barrett sat this game, I would have projected Bulls 1. But I have Knicks 2 because I do believe Barrett will play. I'm taking the Knicks plus the 2 and plus 108 to win outright. They can win that game without RJ Barrett. I really do. Bucks Raptors. My projection is the Bucks by a whopping 15, total 214.55. Meanwhile, it's 4 and 213.5. That is a lock. And I mean an absolute lock. Especially if Giannis plays. How is Giannis only laying 4? OG Anunoby is out for Toronto. I'm laying it. 8 o'clock, Thunder, Grizzlies. My projection is Grizzlies by 9 3/4, total 214.75. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 215. Very close numbers all around. And I'm going to go take my slight edge with Memphis with this game. No Ja Morant, but OKC doesn't have Josh Giddey. And I believe that they're going to win this game by double digits, Memphis. 9 o'clock, the Pistons and the Suns. My projection is the Suns by 20 3/4, and that's without Devin Booker. Total 211.85. Meanwhile, it's 12.5 and 210.5. I'm going to lay the 12.5 with the Suns. And last but not least, 10 o'clock NBA TV, the Spurs and the Trailblazers. No Damian Lillard. My projection is Blazers by 6.5, total 218.3. Meanwhile, it's 3.5 and 221.5. So a 3-point edge on the Blazers and more than a 3-point edge on the under. So we go with the under. No Dame. That helps the cause. So I'm going to go with the under in that game. Okay, now we move on to the NHL. We will recap what was a decent window for last night, and we will look ahead to the games being played tonight. Rangers over the Flyers 4-1. Rangers 14-4-3. Philly 8-9-4. Maple Leafs over the Avalanche 8-3. Toronto 17-6-1. Colorado 11-7-1. Canucks over the Senators 6-2. The Canucks 8-14-2. Ottawa 4-15-1. Red Wings over the Kraken 4-3 in a shootout. Detroit 12-9-3. Seattle 8-13-2. Oilers over the Penguins 5-2. Oilers 16-5-0. Pittsburgh 10-8-5. And the Ducks over the Golden Knights 6-5. The Ducks 13-8-3. Vegas 12-10-0. Now we look ahead to tonight. At 7 o'clock, you have the Avalanche against the Canadiens from the Bell Center. There aren't any of the games up on FanDuel right now for some reason. Maybe DraftKings has the better of it right now. So let's see here. Yes. Colorado minus 165, Montreal plus 145. Over under 6, overs minus 115, unders minus 106. Colorado minus 1/2 is plus 145, Montreal plus 1/2 is minus 165. I'm going to take a chance and throw a dart and take the Canadiens plus the money. Colorado on the second of a back-to-back getting smoked by the Maple Leafs. I'm going to go with Montreal at home. Blues Lightning. This game was just on the other day. Lightning minus 160, Blues plus 130, over under 5.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Lightning minus 1/2 is plus 170, Blues plus 1/2 is minus 200. I think this is another over. I just think that this is a high scoring game. I don't know who wins, but I'm gonna go with the over. Sabres, Panthers. Panthers minus 300, Buffalo plus 235, over under 6. Overs minus 120, unders even money. Buffalo plus 1/2 is even money. Florida minus 1/2 is minus 120. I'm going to go with the Florida puck line. They're just so dominant at home, and I don't see how they either lose or only win by a goal. Blackhawks, Capitals. The Capitals are minus 200. The Blackhawks plus 170, over under 6. Overs even money, unders minus 120. Blackhawks plus 1/2 is minus 135. Capitals minus 1/2 is plus 115. The Blackhawks have been playing a lot better since the coaching change. And the sexual scandal within the former front office stuff that's in the past, and they've moved on. And they're playing good right now. I'm going to actually take a shot here and say they win this game outright. Plus 170. Next up, the Senators and the Hurricanes. Carolina's minus 300. Ottawa's plus 235. Over under 6. Overs even money. Unders minus 120. Ottawa plus 1/2 is even money. Carolina minus 1/2 is minus 120. Same strategy as the Panthers-Sabres game. I'm going to lay the puck line with Carolina. Sharks Islanders, 7:30 from the Islanders' new arena. Islanders minus 125, San Jose plus 105, over under 5.5, overs plus 105, unders minus 125. Sharks plus 1/2 is minus 235, Isles minus 1/2 is plus 185. Islanders first came back from the COVID pause. I think there's a chance that they look rusty. So I'm going to go San Jose plus 105 against the Islanders. 8 o'clock, Bruins, Predators. Bruins are minus 120, Preds are even money, over under 5.5, overs plus 110, unders minus 130. Boston minus 1/2 is plus 185, Preds plus 1/2 is minus 225. I'm going to take the Preds at even money to win outright at home. Devils, Wild. The Wild are minus 175. The Devils are plus 150. Over under 6. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Devils plus 1/2 is minus 155. Wild minus 1/2 is plus 135. For this game, I'm going to go with the Wild in regulation at minus 110. 8:30, Blue Jackets, Stars. Dallas minus 175, Columbus plus 150, over under 5.5. Overs even money, unders minus 120. Columbus plus 1.5 is minus 165. Dallas minus 1.5 is plus 145. I'm going to go Columbus. They're due. Dallas has been kind in terms of betting, and they're tough to bet against, but this is my last stance with Columbus. If they don't win this game, then they're on the no-bet list for a while, so give me Columbus. And last but not least, 10:30, the Flames and the Kings. The Flames are minus 150. The Kings are plus 130, over under 5.5. Overs plus 120, unders minus 140. Calgary minus 1.5 is plus 170. LA plus 1.5 is minus 200. This is another tough one. I'm going to go with the Flames in regulation at plus 125 at Los Angeles. All right, now move on to college basketball. We will recap what was a busy window yesterday and look ahead to a slower day today. So without further ado, here we go. Western Carolina over Warren Wilson 102-47. NC Central over South Carolina Upstate 67-65. UNC Asheville over the Citadel 65-58. Stony Brook over American 80-57. Xavier over Central Michigan 78-45. Number 6 Villanova over Penn 71-56. Number 25 Seton Hall over Wagner 85-63. Vermont over Dartmouth 83-65. Yale over Lehigh 82-72. Hofstra over Princeton 81-77. Morehead State over Georgia Southern 59-51. Florida A&M over Fort Valley State 76-63. Middle Tennessee over Tennessee Martin 73-61. FA over Stetson 83-73. St. Francis PA over Bucknell 93-61 or 67. Central Con over Holy Cross 73-67. Navy over William and Mary 75-56. Norfolk State over UNC Wilmington 74-69. Coastal Carolina over South Carolina 80-56. Cincinnati over Miami of Ohio 59-58. Richmond over Wofford 73-64. Temple over LaSalle 73-57. BU over George Washington 56-54. Loyola Maryland over Chicago State 78-64. Rhode Island over Harvard 64-57. Fordham over St. Francis Brooklyn 68-46. Brown over UMass Lowell 73-63. UMBC over Columbia 98-60. Dayton over Alabama State 93-54. St. Joe's over Binghamton 79-57. St. Bonaventure over Coppin State 93-81. Mercer over Kennesaw State 73-71. FIU over Florida Gulf Coast 77-61. Southern Illinois over Evansville 54-52. Iona over Marist 78-71. Western Illinois over Ball State 93-80. Bowling Green over Duquesne 78-70. Akron over Marshall 88-86. Georgia upsets number 18 Memphis 82-79. Number 22 Michigan State over Louisville 73-64. NC State over Nebraska 104-100 in quadruple overtime. Virginia Tech over Maryland 62-58. Stephen F. Austin over Lincoln, California 90-54. Incarnate Word over Our Lady of the Lord 93-66. Yale Monroe over Senator Louisiana 104-67. App State over Boise 90-29. La Tech over Texas Southern 87-60. Winthrop over Hartford 82-75. UAB over East Tennessee State 70-56. Wazoo over Arizona State 51-29. Number 10 Arkansas over Central Arkansas 97-60. Oklahoma upsets number 14 Florida 74-67. From a ranking standpoint, but not a betting standpoint. Number 19 Iowa State over Arkansas Pine Bluff 83-64. Number 21 Auburn over UCF 85-68. Abilene Christian over Dallas 108-65. South Alabama over Southern Miss 85-55. Wichita State over Oklahoma State 60-51. SMU over UNLV 83-64. A&M Corpus Christi over Texas Rio Grande 83-77. Kansas State over Albany 71-43. Bradley over Northern Iowa 71-69. Illinois State over Missouri State 79-74. Loyola Chicago over Indiana State 88-76. LSU over Ohio 66-51. Northern Illinois over Eastern Illinois 55-45. Troy over Rust 81-48. Providence over Texas Tech 72-68. Utah Valley upsets number 12 BYU 72-65 in overtime. North Alabama over Mississippi Valley State 72-58. Colorado State over Little Rocks, 86-55. Dixie State over Bastetta, 99-67. UC Davis over Pacific, 63-57. Number 23, Wisconsin over Georgia Tech, 70-66. North Carolina defeats number 24, Michigan, 72-51. Miami over Penn State, 63-58. Number 5, UCLA over Colorado, 73-61. Oregon over UC Riverside, 71-61. Or 71-65. Fresno State over San Diego, 63-43. Seattle over McNeese, 78-62. And number 20, USC over Utah, 93-73. Now we look ahead to tonight's games. Not as many compared to yesterday. First up, Fairleigh Dickinson and Drexel. My projection is Drexel 22 3/4. And it is let's see here, to go to Vegas Insider for this one. Um, 13 and 145. So I'm going to lay to 13 with Drexel. Travis Christian and Grambling, we can skip. Sacred Heart and Lafayette. My projection is Lafayette 10 1/4. And it's 3.5 and 144.5. I'm going to lay to 3.5. LIU and Towson. My projection is Towson by 11 1/4, and it's 9.5 and 42.5. I can't bet LIU. I'm sorry, I can't bet Towson because it's too close. So I'm going to go with the total, and I'll take the over. East Minoy and James Madison, we can skip. Delaware State. My projection is Delaware by 20 3/4, and it's 15.5 and 147.5. I'm going to lay the points with UDEL. St. Elizabeth NJIT and Edward Waters, North Florida, we can skip. Missouri Liberty. My projection is Liberty by 5 1/4, and it's 4.5 and 128. I'm going to take the over. I think that's low. Wright State and Purdue Fort Wayne. My projection is Wright by 4.5. And now we're in Horizon League play. So it's 4.5 and 152.5. So spot on. I'll take the over, but I don't feel good about it. Northern Kentucky and Cleveland State. My projection is Cleveland State by 8 1/4, and it is 3.5 and 133.5. I'm going to lay it with Cleveland State. Detroit and IUPUI. My projection is Detroit by 5. And it's 6.5 and 130.5. I'm going to take the over. 7:30 Shriner Sam Houston. We can skip. 8 o'clock Montana State and Northern Colorado. My projection is Montana State by 1/4. And it is Northern Colorado by 2.5, total 145. I'll take Montana State plus 2.5 and plus 132 on the money line. Crown College, St. Thomas, Minnesota, we could skip. Oral Roberts, TCU. My projection is TCU 3.5. And it is 8 and 145.5. I'll take the... Oh, that's a tough one. Go a little nuts and go with the under. Lamar and Mississippi State. My projection is Miss State by 26 3/4, and it's 25 and 134.5. I'll take the over here. Jacksonville, Charleston Southern. My projection is Jacksonville by 6. And it's 4.5 and 136.5. I'll take the over. Lipscomb and Belmont. My projection is Belmont by 7 1/4. And it's 12.5 and 150.5. I'll take Lipscomb in the points. Youngstown State and Milwaukee. My projection is Milwaukee by 5 1/4. And it's 5.5 and 138.5. I'll take the over. Robert Morris and Green Bay. My projection is Green Bay 2 1/4. And it's Robert Morris 1.5, total 135.5. It's weird. Green Bay's favored minus 114. Robert Morris is 105, and that's in terms of the money line. I'll take Green Bay plus 1.5 and minus 120 and minus 114 on the money line. Oakland UIC. My projection here is Oakland 5.25, and it's 6.5 and 135.5. I'll take the over. Northland and North Dakota State, we could skip. 8:30 Washington and number 11 Arizona. My projection is Arizona by 16.25. And I might have to go to DraftKings for this line because I can't find it on FanDuel. I don't see it up yet, so I have to go to Vegas Insider now. It is 18.5 and 149.5. I'm going to take Washington getting all the points. 9 o'clock, Northern Arizona and Weber State. My projection is Weber State by 16.25. It's 16.5 and 144.5. I'll take the over. Portland State, Idaho State. My projection is Idaho State 2 3/4, and it is 3.5 and 129.5. I'll take the over. Southern Utah and Eastern Washington. My projection is Southern Utah by 3. It's 4.5 and 151.5. I'll take the under. That's low. Or a high total, my bad. UTSA and Grand Canyon. My projection is Canyon by 12.25. And it is 14.5 and 134.5. I'll take UTSA in the points. St. Mary's and Utah State on CBS Sports Network. My projection is St. Mary's by 8.5. And Utah State's a 1.5 point favorite. So it's 127.5. I'm taking St. Mary's plus the points and plus 106. Straight up. Valpo Drake on ESPNU. My projection is Drake 14.25. And it's 14.5 and 134.5. I'll take the over. Denver and Wyoming. My projection is Wyoming 8.25. And it's 19.5 and 134.5. I'm taking Denver in the points. 10 o'clock Montana and Sacramento State. My projection is Montana 1 3/4. And it's 5.5 and 134.5. I'm taking Sac State plus 5.5. Cal Poly and Cal Baptist. My projection is Baptist by 10. And it's 10.5 and 133.5. I'll take the over. Eastern Michigan and San Diego. My projection is UC San Diego by 3.5. And it's 5.5 and 144.5. I'll take Eastern Michigan in the points. And last but not least, on the Pac-12 Network at 10:30, Oregon State and Cal. My projection is Oregon State 2 3/4. And Cal's favorite 2.5 totals 126.5. I take in Oregon State plus the 2.5 and plus 128 on the money line. It's literally going to be my one last stance for that team, as well as they're just due to win a game here, in my opinion. All right, now I'll move on to the NFL. We have a big game tonight. The Cowboys and the Saints from the Superdome. Cowboys dealing with a lot of COVID stuff and whatnot. A lot of players questionable for this game, such as Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Alvin Kamara. You could argue the Cowboys need this game because they lost a couple. Washington's coming for them. And you... Well, I don't put that division away. I know you're going to play them head-to-head. But I think if you're Dallas, you go out and try to win this game. It's So it looks like that Lamb, Cooper, Elliott, and Kamara are all going to play in this game. It says not expected to play. So I'm going to bump this up to Cowboys 6. Total 49-15. It's because I don't think Alvin Kamara will play, so I had to adjust the line on the fly on the podcast here. And this line is Cowboys 5 and the total's 47.5. I think for the first time all year, I'm going to go with the Cowboy over. I think the weapons coming back for Dallas will prevail. I believe that Dak will play better, so we'll go over 47.5 at minus 105 between the Cowboys and the Saints. All right, now move on to golf. We have a tournament that will get underway in a couple of hours. And that tournament is the Hero World Challenge from Albany Golf Club. I'm just going to go through notable tee times, and I'll make a pick. 11:05, Tyrrell Hatton, Matt Fitzpatrick. 11:16, Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns. 11:27, Danny Berger, Webb Simpson. 11:38, Harry English and Tony Finau. 11:49, Abraham Ancer, Patrick Reed. Noon, Victor Hovland and Henrik Stenson. 12:11, Justin Rose and Xander Schauffele. 12:22, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy. 12:33, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka. 12:44, Bryson DeChambeau, Jordan Spieth. So this is a really big time tournament that they have going on here. A lot of stars. And the person that I'm going to pick to win this event, go with a little bit of a long shot here. 14-1, Tony Finau. I just like the spot for him. No one's talking about him. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to be Rory or somebody like that. But I really like Brooks at 20-1 as well. That's another good one. But I really like Tony Finau at 14-1 to win this event. Now I'll move on to news and notes for today. So it is official. Major League Baseball is now in a lockout. We all saw this was coming. It was bound to happen. The two sides couldn't come to an agreement. So everything is on freeze. It's the first MLB work stoppage since 94-95. And it was a unanimous vote as well. Rob Manfred made a statement pretty much saying that they don't want to happen what happened in 94-95. So they thought that the lockout was for the better. But now Rob Manfred has to own up to those words, and hopefully this gets done sooner rather than later. And the ramifications from this is that the Major League Baseball winter meetings canceled. But the meetings will proceed for minor leagues, amazingly enough. And the MLB websites have been scrubbed of every active player during the lockout. And that's crazy. That was something that went viral last night. Some other baseball news. The Chicago Cubs signed Marcus Stroman, 3 years, $71 million. I think it's a little bit of a risk for Chicago. and a little bit of an overpay as well, but they're lucky that they got him on a short-term deal. I think he could provide some innings for them, assuming that this lockout thing comes to an end. So, if that's the case, and they have more pieces to go sign for agency to build around them, I really like this deal for the Chicago Cubs. The Boston Red Sox made a couple more moves. 1-year deal for Rich Hill, so they signed him, they signed Michael Wacha, and they signed James Paxton. So 3 starters I don't think are all great fits with Boston because it's such a home run prone park. The one I like the most for them is Rich Hill because of the big game experience. But James Paxton obviously was a Yankee for a couple years and just didn't work out. And then Hill, someone that's been in a lot of big games with the Dodgers through the years. And Michael Wacha's been in a ton of big games for the Cardinals in the early part of his career. The Diamondbacks signed Mark Melancon, 2 years, $14 million. I think that's a good deal for him. Potentially a trade asset with that great contract as well. Carlos Correa feels comfortable waiting on the new deal. So he's obviously going to wait till after the lockout. Dodgers signed Chris Taylor, 4 years, $60. Great signing to bring back Chris Taylor. He's really somebody that is super valuable on this Dodgers team. He probably means more to the Dodgers than he would to any other team if he were to play somewhere else because of his versatility, his speed. He plays good defense. And then Hunter Renfroe gets traded from the Red Sox to the Brewers for Jackie Bradley Jr. and some other prospects. So JBJ back to Boston. It's like he never left. And Hunter Renfroe in Milwaukee's interesting. But my question is, how often does he play and where does he play for Milwaukee? And going back to Boston with Bradley Jr., David Hamilton and Alex Benillas, 2 infield minor league prospects. The Bulls and the Heat lose draft picks because of tampering with Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry in their signing trades. Lamar Jackson says he looked like a rookie on Sunday Night Football. Bad passes, bad read. I looked like a rookie. DeAndre Swift to miss multiple weeks with the shoulder injury. Team's going to be cautious with him. Antonio Brown out 2 weeks due to a sprained ankle. Bam Adebayo needs thumb surgery, torn UCL. So he's going to be out for almost 2 months. That is a tremendously big loss for the Miami Heat. And he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Devin Booker to miss multiple games with a minor left hamstring injury. Damian Lillard out 10 days due to a lower abdominal tendinopathy and will be reevaluated in 10 days. The Seahawks signed Adrian Peterson to their practice squad. We'll see how that works out. Notre Dame looks like they're going to make a new hire, and it is defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman. I think this would be surprising if he were to be the intern guy. I just felt that Notre Dame was going to go big game hunting for big stars to potentially coach their team like an Urban Meyer or something like that. but they go with someone that was on Kelly's staff and wanted him to go with Kelly to LSU. And the last one is Tyler Bertuzzi and COVID-19 protocols for the Red Wings. That is a pretty big loss for the Red Wings. We'll see how long he misses. All right, Masked Singer, we will recap last night's episode. It was a good one. It was Skunk and it was Bull. They each had a solo performance and a duet performance. Bull performed with Jesse McCartney, who obviously was Turtle in Season 3. And Skunk performed with Michael Bolton for her duet later in the show. So the Bull had a couple more little things in his package, including a checkered flag and a wardrobe. And the song he performed was Straight Up by Paul Abdul. This was a phenomenal performance. And the special activity of the week, in terms of a clue, the tongue, which is somebody who it's not. And he said he's not Alexander Hamilton. He said he's never been on Broadway, but performed on the same stage where Hamilton debuted. My guess for this is gonna continue to be Joe Jonas. Ken Jeong went with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. Jenny went with Adam Lambert. And the Culture Singer said Jaden Smith and Jeremy Pope. And the celebrity bestie that popped up before commercial was Matthew Morrison. Then Skunk did her solo performance. She talked about her relationship with Whitney Houston. There was a presidential suite tag, the Statue of Liberty. And she performed I Never Loved a Man by Aretha Franklin. And the tongue was Jill Scott, but says that she performed with Scott in the past. My guess, Mary J. Blige. Ken's guess, Mary J. Blige. Jenny said Brandy. Robin said Faith Evans. And the celebrity bestie pre-commercial was Judge Mathis. Then Bull and Jesse McCartney go. They performed Break Even by the Script. And then Skunk and Michael Bolton performed, and they performed Ain't No Mountain High. And Skunk says that she's performed with Michael Bolton in the past. And unfortunately, Skunk was the one who got unmasked in this episode. And this was the first contestant of the entire season. And my first impression guess was Norma Jean Wright. My final guess, Mary J. Blige. Ken Jeong's first impression, Anita Baker. His final, Mary J. Blige. Jenny first impression, Gloria Gaynor. And she said somebody else as well. And her final was Mary J. Blige. The Cole Scherzinger threw out a couple, including Deborah Cox and Mary J. Blige. Her final is Faith Evans. Robin's first and final, Faith Evans. And who was it? The one and only Faith Evans. So, Robin Wright from the get-go. Nicole Wright. So, Faith Evans was indeed the Skunk. And then Bull moves on to take on the winner of Sacred Heart. Or I'm sorry, not Sacred Heart. That's college basketball. Queen of Hearts and Banana Split. So, we'll see how the finale goes and such. I just feel very strong about Queen of Hearts' chances to move on here. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I gave it away earlier. It's the Bucks minus the points against the Raptors from Toronto. I don't know why it's that low, but I'm gonna lay 2 units on it. That's how good I feel about this pick. And I believe that Giannis and company will lay the wood here. So, 2 units on the Bucks minus the 4 points against the Raptors. So there you have it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from tonight and looking ahead to tomorrow and then the rest of the weekend. So big show tomorrow. Don't forget. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.